JD here, and as you can see, we are back with some league racing action. This time for round 5 of the GASR series. This time we arrive at Canada. Here are the current standings, and past couple races have been very, very strong for me. I think probably the best drives I've done of the season so far, especially in terms of my race pace, something I've been working on quite a bit. So I was pretty optimistic coming into this race. However, if you were watching the stream, although it might not be that apparent when you see me in the webcam,
fucking hell,
I wasn't feeling particularly well. If you know what gastritis is, that is something that I did have, because I got tested the day after this race and it confirmed back that I did have gastritis. And if you have that, it is not a pleasant experience. So I really wasn't feeling physically good coming into this race. Had about 3 hours of sleep and was in quite a bit of pain. Had a bit of a semi-migraine as I was doing this race. So the practice beforehand actually went really well, but during the actual league race itself and this qualifying, when the pressure's on, this is probably my worst qualifying performance I've done in a very long time.
That's enough.
And you can see here it's not going well so far. My PB was an 8.4, theoretical 0.3. And I was doing 0.5s, 0.6s quite comfortably in the practice. I do struggle with this track, especially with the track limits. I find it is, I don't know what it is. Normally I'm good at not getting track limits, but around here, you have to take a risk. And you can see if we nailed the chicane like we did there, look how much time you actually gained on the Delta. So yeah, I was really struggling with that final chicane, costing me a lot of time. And yeah, in Q2 so far is not going so well. So this is my final, well, penultimate lap here, because we go through, I'm already on the lap and we actually abandon it because I know that is not going to be good enough. So we're going to go for another lap.
What's going on, man?
And yeah, I really didn't know what was going on, because in the practice just before this, I was doing 0.5s fairly comfortably whilst being within track limits. And you can see going across the line line here, it's only an 8.8.
So fucking shit.
And yeah, about to
here.
hear.
What the fuck is going on? Fuck's sake, man.
Yeah, not too happy with that. And I knew that I was going to be out. And yeah, we don't even come P11, we come P12. A pretty shocking qualifying there. And yeah, you could say how I was feeling had a bit to do with it. I think when the pressure's on, that's where you have to concentrate even more. And yeah, I just was not on it in this qualifying. And you can see these are the Q3 results. So championship leader Batful does a 7.9. So where's this pace come from? He's normally a fast driver. He's just been very consistent in his championship, but that lap was a serious statement. So we're starting P12. Medium to hard is definitely going to be the optimal strategy. So not many people starting on hards. So we got 5 lights here, and as they go out now, the key is just to stay in this DRS train and try and pull off a miracle in this race. And one thing I did practice quite a bit was the race pace. That's something I've been doing a lot more in my recent league races, and you can see they've been working very well. So I was very optimistic of still getting a good result despite where we're starting here, because this is definitely a track you can overtake on. But one thing that was a big problem, and I think something they really need to patch not quite a bit, but they need to patch it, is this tyre smoke. Because F1 Esports, on their esports build, they managed to get rid of it. Why can't you get rid of it on the main consumer build? I just don't understand it. So yeah, it made it very difficult for me, and I was already having a hard time concentrating as it is, and that on top of it, I was just really struggling in this first stint. When I was following people, I just had absolutely no confidence. I was just trying not to get penalties, trying not to get track limits, because I know that is a big thing around here. But because of that, I was just really slow. In practice, when I had clear air, I was so much faster in clear air. I was doing that mid-11s all the time. But in traffic here, and just not being able to see, just a concentration, I was just really struggling to be fast with this track. And you see we get a bit of a sloppy restart here. Anton goes down the inside, so he's another one of my championship rivals. And because of that, we've actually now lost touch with Ickle, and it's absolutely essential that we stay within this DRS train, because we get out of this DRS train, and you can see we're missing the apex here. So right now, this first stint, I drove horribly. This was definitely the worst I've driven in a league race stint for probably quite a long time. And you can see we've actually lost the DRS, and because there's 3 DRS zones around this track, if you lose the DRS, it's going to be really hard for you to catch back up. You can see the smoke effect as well. But I just was not on it in this first stint. I just wasn't comfortable with the track limits, and I wasn't comfortable pushing, and yeah, just really struggling, seeing missing apexes left, right and centre. So we were just not on it, and I'm not going to get DRS here. You're about to see and hear me say as well.
How have I not got DRS, man?
And yeah, if you don't get the DRS, there's another DRS after this. It's going to be really hard to get back with it unless you have a lot more pace. So you can see we've actually lost a bit of time to the cars up ahead and Anton behind me. I'm not going to fight this too hard now because I need him to kind of drag me back into his DRS train. If we have any chance of getting points this race, we need to be back in this DRS train, and we need a lot of luck to do that as well. So Anton goes past me, and you see, going through Sarge chicane, we were just horrible, absolutely awful going through that. I was just so scared of getting a penalty and a track limit, so I was just avoiding it like the plague. But no, Anton is starting to drag us a little bit closer to the guys up ahead, so this is working my favour. You can see we've actually saved quite a bit of the ERS as well. But on the exit here, Anton makes a huge mistake. And yeah.
No, I've lost DRS again. Great.
And now we've lost the DRS, and there's even a bigger gap. So yeah, things are just going to plan for this first stint. You can see the gap is extending up ahead. I was trying to close in as much as possible. But yeah, you can see my teammate now goes past me as well. And it's kind of just going bad to worse at this point. But as the tyres go off, because the tyres kind of hit the cliff on like lap 8 on the mediums, they go off pretty quickly. This is where it started to swing a lot more in my favour. So you can see in the pits, a lot of people are starting to pit now. And now I actually have clear air ahead of me where the smoke isn't really going to affect me. This part of the race from here to that 20 is what determined the result at the end of the race for me. And these laps here, these were easily the best laps I drove in the race. This is what I practiced beforehand when the tyres went off. And this is where I'm at my best. When the balance goes off, you can see we're actually closing in on the guys up ahead. So as they were struggling with their tyres, this is where my setup and also just my driving style, I actually start to come alive. So we were starting to come alive in this race. And although these laps are slow, just look at the consistency.
Basically.
Lap upon lap. And you can hear me say there, we're just going to stay out. We have absolutely nothing to lose now. Absolutely nothing to lose. If we pit next up, we're just going to be 2 or 3 seconds behind. Tyres aren't going to really make a huge difference in terms of the delta. So we've just got to commit and hope there is a safety car. But again, these were the crucial laps of this race. Look at the consistency. So that's a 12.9. You'll see in the next lap is within a 10th. And no, try mediums for 10 plus laps, 10 to 20 laps here. You will see how difficult it is. Coming across the line, what's this going to be? It's a 13.0. Next lap is going to be within a 10th again. So these were the laps that kind of, you'll see by the end of the result, really saved my race here. Without being able to do these kind of laps, we'd have had absolutely no chance. And this is where I feel I excel. When the tyres go off, the balance goes off, the smoothness of my driving. And without the smoke, I was able to just really focus on my pace. You can see they are closing in because the hards are very good tyres, so they are closing in very quickly. But if I hadn't practiced this, they would have already caught me by now. They probably would have caught me about 2 laps ago. And then trying to stay out for a safety car would have been absolutely pointless. So this was absolutely crucial because we're going in deep. So tyres are really, really going off now. It's lap 20 on these medium tyres, which, again, normally lap 8 to 9 is where they kind of hit the cliff. You can see quite a bit of wear there. But it's normally lap 8 they start to really, really go off. The hard is definitely the best race tyre around this circuit. So right here, I am just praying to the safety car gods that we are going to get a safety car, because it's more than likely that we are going to get a safety car from now to the end of the race. We've had a couple of virtual safety cars, so I was just really praying. Luck hasn't really been on my side recently, especially at the likes of Singapore, so I was just praying to the gods that we're going to get a safety car. And I was going to pit the previous lap, but I just thought, wait until they catch me, then I'll pit. And, obviously I know it won't work. If I start falling down the order, then I might as well just pit. But Here now, Gladdy is going to get past me, so we're not going to fight too much. As Braun has retired from race, and a safety car has come out. If that was one corner before, that would have been absolutely perfect. And again, those laps from lap 12 to 20, that is what has saved my race. And Gladdy continues, which I was a bit surprised about. But again, like I said, the hard tyre is a very, very durable tyre. So we're going to pit for the hard tyre, which is absolutely perfect. Batful and pretty much everyone else behind pits for, I believe, like new mediums. And at this stage, I was super confident because although the mediums are going to be good for the first 3 to 5 laps, after that, the hard tyre actually becomes the faster tyre. So I knew I was on the best strategy now. We're coming out in P4 as well. Everyone ahead of me has not pitted for new tyres, so I'm going to have much better tyres than them. Batful behind and some medium runners behind. They're going to be quick, but they're going to go off actually pretty quickly, those tyres. So I knew from this position, realistically, I knew that I should be winning this race. The race should be won. I'm in the pound seat, and no, this is the perfect opportunity. And considering where we were, just making that decision to go long, got very lucky. But also, if we hadn't had that consistency between lap 12 to 20, they probably would have caused 2 laps before, and I would have been down maybe in that P7, P8, P9, and then this strategy wouldn't have worked at all. So with 11 laps to go, this is absolutely perfect. So we are definitely on the best strategy right now, because after a few laps, these tyres here where I'm on, we are going to be the fastest car on track, and we don't have too many cars ahead of me, so the smoke isn't going to be as huge of a factor here. But we've got Batful behind. He is the guy that I need to be beating for this championship. So we're going to go down the inside of Stefanich, and we get this move done really, really nicely up into P3. And the guys up ahead of me, they're on hards as well, but they have been on those tyres from about a lap 10 to 12. So we have about 12 to 13 lap fresher tyres in them, which will make a difference when it is that much of a delta. So coming through here, you can see we're really, really cautious going through this last chicane and just getting through that. So moving to lap 25 now, you can see we're back within the DRS zone of these guys up ahead. So you can see we are the fastest car on track right now. Batful, we've got the DRS, but we're going to let him go because I knew I'd be able to stay with him. With my heart here, I knew I'd be able to stay with him. But as we go through this final chicane, yeah, we do this fairly well. But the guy behind me, Thomas, he gets a really, really good run. But we cannot afford to lose touch with Batful, our championship rival. So we leave plenty of room down the inside. We left so much room on the inside because considering where I was, this is great damage limitation. A little bit of contact in the edge. He did have just enough space, just making sure we keep this position. And now we're in P4. But right now, this is the perfect place to be. So let's just skip to that 27. You can see Batful is right behind the leader. So the medium tyres are working well at this stage. But it's right about now. That is where the crossover happens. And I believe from this point onwards, my tyres were the better tyres. You can see Batful up into P2. So he's making his way up here. And the thing is, as long as the guys up ahead of me stay in his DRS, but I was very confident of that because although Batful's on new mediums, the hards are just such a durable tyre. I don't think he's going to be able to escape their DRS. You can see Batful's in the lead, but the guys behind have managed to stick with him really well because, again, the mediums, they are only good for about 3 to 5 laps. Then they go off, and even 10-lap older hard tyres, they actually start to become quicker after a few laps as well. So lap 30 of the race, we're in P4, and Schumacher up ahead has a penalty as well. Quite a few people behind me have penalties. We are in such a good position. As you can see, Batful has now gone from first to third, and this is the guy we need to beat. We need to beat this guy in the race. If we can win this race, considering we qualified P12, everything that happened, and just how I was feeling coming to this race as well, this will be one of the best recoveries of all time. So lap 31 here, you can see Batful with the traction, he's really starting to struggle, so I'm going to start putting some pressure on him. Really need to try and beat the second or third man in this DRS train coming to the last few laps. I do not want to be in this P4. So coming off the exit here, using the ERS again, so just really trying to put him underneath as much pressure as possible. But he actually defends really well here, so he goes into the middle of the track, kind of deters me from going around the outside and the inside, because that corner there is a very, very difficult corner to overtake on, because there are 2 incidents in this race which I will tell you what happened in those instances after the race. One of them's on lap 32 at that hairpin, and then on the final lap, lap 35 at that hairpin, there is another instance. So please let me know your thoughts on that as well. Very open to feedback and criticism. I'll be giving you my thoughts after the race and what the stewards' outcome was. But yeah, that corner there was a very difficult corner to overtake on, and really the only opportunity to overtake on around this track. So right now, my tyres are by far the best out of this top 5. And again, after that safety car, I think even in this stint here, I didn't drive particularly well. I think it was from lap 12 to 20. That's when I definitely drove my best in the race, when I had the clear air. But right here now, with these tyres, I should be in the lead of this race. I have that much of an advantage. I should be doing better than P4 here as lap 32. So here's the first incident, going down the inside. As we did it, we make contact with Schumacher, get damage in our wing. So we didn't make any contact with Batful, but we run into the back of Schumacher and get that overtake done. And yeah, if Schumacher wasn't there, I think we would have controlled our speed enough, but because of that caterpillar effect from the car ahead and the tightness of really the nature of that corner, we ran into the back of Schumacher and then we got that move done. So if we take a little look at Batful's point of view, you'll see here. So yeah, as we go into here, I go down the inside, and yeah, if Schumacher wasn't there, I think it would have been fine between myself and Batful, but the issue was that I made contact with Schumacher. So I knew in the back of my mind that was probably definitely going to be a steward's. So I was just focused on completing the rest of this race and yeah, kind of really looking at it afterwards. But again, let me know your thoughts, and I will be telling you what the stewards thought of that and what I thought of that after the race. So skipping on to here now, to get a really, really poor run for the chicane. So we have a damaged wing as well. So Batful is going to try and take advantage of this. And this corner, if I turn in here, it's going to be another incident. So I had to leave so much room on this inside. And it's just crucial to try and stay ahead of him as much as possible. Even with his damaged wing, I knew that my tyres were so much better. So I still felt confident that I could actually keep the position. And these guys up ahead of me, again, I have about 12 lap fresher tyres in them. I should be cruising up to them pretty comfortably. But as we go through this hairpin, I think Batful has an instant where he almost runs into the back of me. That means he has to take avoiding action. And you can see he actually tumbles down the order. So now he's actually lost quite a few places here. So big incident for him there. So I think he went a little bit too hot into the hairpin. Had to take avoiding action. So now we don't have any pressure from behind. And the goal is just to try and save as much battery for this last straight as possible. So Schumacher has a penalty ahead of me. So really, it's only Gladdy. If we beat Gladdy here, then we are going to win this race, despite what happened in the qualifying and in the first stage of the race. And really how poorly I've actually driven this race. The first stint and even this stint, I don't think I've been particularly great. It was that lap 12 to 20, that was what has allowed me to be in this position, really. So I knew if I could get past Gladdy, that was probably, minus some steward panels, probably going to be the race win here. So we're going to get nice and close to him. Unknown to me, he was actually very low on the battery here. So you can see he's really struggling to save the battery. So we get a pretty good exit. And going through here, so this is the second instant, he doesn't fight this at all. So go down the inside and we make a little bit of contact of him. So yeah, I was anticipating he was going to be braking really late to try and fight that corner. We make a little bit of contact, a little bit of a damaged wing as well, but the contact was pretty minimal. But again, I'll be telling you the outcome of the stewards here. And yeah, right here now, Schumacher has a penalty, so I know I'm in the net leader race. Cue your headphone, lower the volume.
Yes!
Or did that a little bit too early, but
Yes!
and yeah, despite that reaction, I think that was more because of how much we recovered, not because I thought I was going to win this race. So this was the POV from Gladdy. So just notice when the contact's made, notice how much it pushes him offline. So it's going here. Yeah, there's contact. I left room on the exit throughout the whole corner, but it didn't actually push him that much offline. So yeah, there were two stewards panels against me. One for that lap 32 with Batful, one for Gladdy. So the final lap, I can confirm I did not get a penalty for that, because of the reasons I said. yeah, there was minimal contact. He left the door open. I had a lot more ERS than him. So despite there was contact, I left room throughout the entire corner, and it didn't really push him that much online. So it wasn't a significant amount of contact. However, the one with Batfall, unfortunately, no, to be fair, I also kind of agree with this as well. I did get a 5-second penalty, which puts me down to P4 because Schumacher also got a penalty for a separate incident. So P4 from where we were, I will be taking that. And honestly, with the steward's decisions, I agree with him completely. It was a shame for the Batfall one because, yeah, it's a very, very awkward corner to overtake on. Without that contact of Schumacher, there wouldn't have been any penalty at all. Without Schumacher being there, I think myself and Batpool would have got through the corner okay. The issue is, yeah, because I made contact with Schumacher, that kind of allowed me to control my speed and get around the corner. So honestly, I can't argue against that. I was expecting at least one penalty. If I would have got a penalty for both, I think, yeah, that would have been something to discuss, definitely for sure. But yeah, I can't really disagree with the stewards. So I got a 5 penalty for that, which I think is fair. But yeah, it kind of shows, even when you're out, when you think you're out and done with it, if you stick in there and deliver a good performance when you need to, especially that middle stint I did, then you can actually always come back. So thank you so much for watching. I actually won't be streaming this weekend because I will be away, so I will unfortunately be missing a race. But I'll be back for Australia in a week's time. I think on the 16th, I'll be back streaming again. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a good time, and I will catch you very, very soon. Peace.